Get the behind-the-scenes information on the breweries and beers you love with What's on Tap's Brewery Sessions.
All right, we're talking with Brandon from Bottle Logic.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Doing good. So Brandon, what do you do?
So I'm the brand manager, and I'm also one of the owners of Bottle Logic.
All right. So this is your first time at MBCC?
Second time.
Second time. All right. So what have you seen different this year?
I think the whole organization of like the volunteers is really good this year, and Mikkel's always puts on a good show for everybody, even the brewers, and always the hospitality is like, it's great.
Yeah. People are really excited about Bottle Logic this year.
Yeah.
It's like the name caught on.
Yeah.
So
I got some fun. We got some fun stuff pouring this today and tomorrow, and I'm excited for next session. So then we're gonna pour our collaboration with Mikkeller on Saturday night. It's a Beer Geek observation. So it's a mixture between Beer Geek and Fundamental.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So.
All right, I have a question.
All right, go.
What do you think made Fundamental Conservation that big?
We use a shit ton of vanilla. It has a very unique aroma to it. And I don't know, it's a beer that we don't compromise on, and it's very expensive to make. Yeah. And I think people really appreciate once you smell it, there's a completely different aesthetic to it. Brownie batter, very, very like sweet, but like there's still some like chocolate notes and all that supporting it. So I don't know, people just we put it out, people loved it, and then now we can't make enough of it. So
that's a great problem to have.
Yeah.
No, so I'm thinking more about like, what are your everyday beers? Because I think most of the people in Europe have probably heard about Fundamental Conservation, right?
Yeah.
So what are the everyday beers that you also put out?
Sure. So one of our flagships is Recursion IPA, West Coast IPA we do with Mosaic and Simcoe. We sell a lot of that. We're actually going to start canning that in a couple weeks. We used to do 22-ounce bottles, but we're switching to cans now. And then 714 Blonde is like, we sell that at Disneyland. It's a big account for us there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we sell a lot of blonde ale. And I would say a lot of people just like are all the one-offs we do in the tasting room. So we do fruited Berliners, hazy IPAs. We'll do fresh stouts too. So we do like an ice cream series of fresh stouts. So like the big favorite for that is called Mint Condition, and it's a chocolate mint stout.
Nice.
So
yeah.
How does getting into Disneyland change things?
It's just they're a good account. They're a good partner to have. They want a lot of beer on a weekly basis. But then people who come and visit for Disneyland, they'll come and try our beer there, and then they find out our tasting room is so close, they pop in for a visit. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a kind of a crazy account to get. Disneyland is huge.
It's been changing there a lot for beer and spirits in general. They really they realize that most of the kids who grew up with Disney are now adults, and they gotta be a little bit more welcoming for that. So I think it's great. So California Adventure has our blonde ale, and then there's parts of Disneyland they're working on getting more alcohol in there too.
So what's your location like? Like, do you have one brewery tap room, or do you have several tap rooms? Or
we have one tap room at our brewery in Anaheim, and then we're actually in the middle of an expansion right now. We're opening a restaurant attached to the tasting room, and then we're adding an extra 2,500 square feet to the tasting space and the patio. So making it a little bit more welcoming for people. We get a lot of people out of town now visiting, so just trying to grow with the times. I'm excited about the restaurant though. We're doing like a seasonal rotational menu, like different styles of food depended on like the season and stuff.
So do you try to match the beer that you brew to the menu that you make, or the menu they make to the beer they brew?
Yeah, so the slogan for the restaurant is going to be food made for beer. Nice. So everything will have some sort of relation to what we have on tap. And then we're going to have we bought a custard machine, so we're going to have different flavored custards for what barrel-aged beers we have on.
I'm kind of jealous, actually, because it sounds amazing.
Yeah, you guys will have to come by and check it out.
Oh, we have to. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we're slowly going to roll it out, but I think in about 3 weeks we're going to start letting people try some of the dishes.
Nice. The California market's actually pretty complex and pretty intense.
Yeah.
So do you see yourselves as a Anaheim brewer or a larger California brewer?
We're not a regional brewery, I don't think. I think we're more local than that. I'm scared to go regional right now. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I want to take care of our local market. So, like, especially with the barrel-aged beers, like, we have a lot of people who supported us, and they spent a lot of money on that stuff. So I'd like to make sure that they're taken care of. And then we're slowly sending stuff out, but we kind of do, like, drop shipments. So, like, a pallet here, a pallet there. And it makes it a little it makes it special, but then we can spread out our small stock a little bit more. People seem to like that.
So you don't see expanding beyond the region that you're in.
Not in like draft or like production like that, but I could see us opening more tasting rooms. I think after we get this all said and done, we're gonna open one more tasting room and then see where we're at, where the market's at there. Then.
So how have you seen the California scene change over the years?
It went from everyone having the 4 same styles of beer, so like the blonde, the amber, the IPA, and now it's more seasonal rotational. A lot of accounts want the newest thing to be put on tap. They don't want a repeat buy of something. So that's good. But I don't know, I think everyone, like every brewery that I know in California, they're always raising the mark and shooting for higher things. So everyone, it's like a good competition element, I think.
Yeah. So who do you see as like the main competition? Like when you look at a brewery and you go, fuck those guys, I want to do that too.
Probably Budweiser owned craft breweries.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. They it's not them like directly going after our products, but they do some weird stuff where they offer, like, I'm not going to mention who, but like some of their tasting rooms of those breweries offer like all you can drink before games and stuff like that. And it's just like, how do you compete with like that's like a pure like substance consumption thing.
Yeah.
And at that point, it doesn't even matter what the beer tastes like. People just want to get drunk.
That's ridiculous. All you can drink, I mean, who wants to compete on that level? I mean, that's just a rock bottom.
I wouldn't even want to.
Exactly.
But yeah, stuff like that is our biggest hurdle. And, you know, people get confused about that stuff. Like my mom once mentioned one of those breweries and was proud like to get a 6-pack for Thanksgiving. And I'm like, oh, Mom, yeah, that's not crap. But I appreciate you trying.
Yeah.
But that's where we're at right now. It's pretty scary.
So does your mom know what you do?
My mom knows what I do.
Yeah. So it's not like a porn thing where you can like, well, my mom doesn't really know what I do, but she understands like the complexity of what it is you're trying to do and accomplish.
Yeah, she's seen it from the start to where we're at now, and she wasn't a beer drinker at first, but we have a lot of. One thing I'm proud of is we have a lot of good like beginner beers, like especially the fruited Berliners and stuff like that. I got her started on that, but now she's drinking 12% stout like it's no business.
So congratulations, you turned your mom into an alcoholic.
It's a family thing.
Yeah.
No, she's not. I love my mom.
Yeah, of course.
I hope she's not going to listen to this. Just kidding.
She probably. What's her name? We'll send her the link directly to this.
Oh, don't do it.
What's your name? What's your mom's name?
Yeah. How can we find her? What's her email? Twitter account?
I'll be anonymous.
Yeah. So what's next for Bottle Logic?
We're going to wrap up this new expansion. We're adding a brand new brew house. It's a 4-vessel, 30-barrel system. It's a Prospero. We've actually had it for about a year now, so we're just waiting to commission it. So this permits right now is the last thing we got to do. So we're going to expand. We're going to start doing more cans on a regular basis, and then we'll see where we go from there. We've been toying around with the idea of doing some distilling and stuff too, but.
So what makes you want to get into distilling from brewery?
Well, because, you know, we do a lot of barrel-aged stuff. We have a appreciation for, like, a good spirit. And it'd be fun, the synergy of that, I think. Like, being able to use our brew house to make a mash for a distillate or using a spent barrel from the distillery at the brewery. There's a lot of synergy, and it's a lot of fun. And we always treat our business like a winery. Like, there's that. It's like a more artisanal kind of feel to it, and I think that just adds to that narrative.
That's great.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Good.
Well, Brandon, thank you for your time. Really
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bottle Logic has been great. Super excited about talking with you.
Yeah.
Because it feels like at least in the Scandinavian market, anytime there's Biologic available, people are just clamoring for it and really going out of the way to get it.
Yeah, we're excited to get it out when we can.
All right, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good MBCC.
Yeah, you guys too.
Yeah. All right, so we're here with Joe Truco from Sloop Brewing. So, welcome to MBCC. How's it going?
Awesome. Having a blast.
Great. So, what did you guys bring today?
So we have our Juice Bomb, our number one seller. Hazy, juicy Northeastern IPA, 6.5%. And then we have our Cocoa Bake, toasted coconut oatmeal stout, 6.5% as well.
Right, so you guys are from New York, right?
Yes.
Not Manhattan, or not the boroughs, but...
Hour and 20 north
All right.
of Manhattan. Yeah,
Okay.
Lower Hudson Valley.
All right. Even though I'm from America, I do not know New England at all.
Right.
So,
right.
I know if you were from the South, they'd be like, oh yeah, I got you.
No, it's not too far. It's literally just a little bit north of Westchester County.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So what do you, this is your first time here?
No, we were here last year.
How did we miss you last year?
I don't know.
I
I think we were over there last year.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
I don't know. Somehow we missed you guys last year.
From what I remember. I don't know.
Yeah. It's all a blur.
Could be hazy. Yeah.
So, what are you guys known for?
So we basically are IPA heavy.
Yeah.
We actually have an awesome sour program that we have going. Dry hop sours, fruited lactose sours. We have a couple here today that we'll feature in the next couple of sessions.
Yeah.
Probably, I think, one later. We have a stout series that we do in the fall and the winter. And we just started a lager program. So we're kind of switching it up a little bit. But we're definitely known for our New England style, hazy, juicy IPAs that double dry hop versions, single IPA series, our bomb series. Juice Bomb's obviously number one for us. And then we do a Citra Bomb, Mosaic Bomb, Galaxy Bomb. So whatever hop we source, do a single IPA version of that.
Yeah. So why did you want to get into doing lagers and sours if you're known for your bomb IPAs?
Because I think our head brewer, Justin Taylor, he's a talent, and he wanted to just experiment with a whole bunch of different things. Sours we've been doing for a little bit, but we kind of revved it up. We opened up a new brewery. So our expansion went from a little over 4,000 barrels on the year to 28,000, maxing out. So brand new space, 27,000 square foot spot that we moved into. So we have more toys and stuff to kind of play with. Yeah.
Always looking to expand and try new things. And
Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is your second time here. What do you think? Is it getting better? Or?
I think it gets better. These guys do an awesome job. It's like probably my favorite festival to go to. So, I mean, everything's organized, everybody's all buttoned up. There's never an issue. You always have somebody there to help out with it, whatever you need. And it's really awesome. So, and the people are great. I mean, you got literally everybody from all over the world. So,
yeah. It's kind of crazy the number of people travel for this thing.
Yeah. I mean, we geek out just as much as everybody else coming up to drink beer geeks out. It's like, so people who might not even speak English are drinking your beer and, thumbs up. So it's, we're communicating through beer, I guess you would say, which is awesome.
What's your distribution like through the U.S.? Is it primarily New England or?
Well, 6 states, obviously New York, Eastern Pennsylvania, Connecticut, Massachusetts, South Carolina.
Okay. All right. So how do you go New England to South Carolina?
A good friend of mine owns a distributor there, so we decided
that makes sense.
But it's also a hotbed for New York brands right now.
Yeah.
So we're over there, and then Jersey. So filling it out. So a couple of states on the horizon for this year, probably. But DC, Maryland.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
DC's not really a state, but
no,
it's a huge market. Yeah.
I throw DC. I clump DC, Maryland, Virginia together.
It's like once you're in DC, you're pretty much in Virginia
anyway. So
exactly. There's not much difference.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how do you see you guys, growing in the future, and what's on the horizon for Sloop?
I think for us, it's really we're putting our Juice Bomb is in 12-ounce can. I think we're going to rev up, like I said, our sour program. We have a dry hop sour called Confliction.
Yeah.
We won a gold medal at the World Beer Cup in 2016. That's going to be a 12-ounce year-round for us, probably in the next few months. So excited to kind of, obviously lead with the number one dog, but kind of branch out. And I think you'll see more lagers from us. You'll see more, things like that pop in the room. So.
Can we hopefully see some cans appearing in Copenhagen anytime soon?
Of course, yes.
Excellent.
I'm talking with that, believe it.
Yeah. Because I would love to see you guys do a can release or a tap takeover while you were here.
Yeah, we're gonna. I think next year we would definitely love to plan something out. I think it'd be awesome. Last year I was on my own. Our head brewer Justin came out with me this year, so we're definitely gonna.
How's Justin adapting to all this?
He loves it.
Yeah, yeah. Because I know head brewers going to be like kind of shy behind the scenes.
He loves it. Yeah. His wife was sleeping. She was here for 10 minutes and then she went back to went to bed.
It's like, all right, nerds, I got it. I'm going back to bed.
Yeah.
Been here, done that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's great. He loves it. Yeah.
All right. I think you've exhausted.
You're killing me here.
You're
killing me
He's
here.
good.
He's
You're
very
killing
good.
me here.
And he always takes the spotlight anyway.
I try not to. I want you to chime in more.
Still do.
You're worthless as always.
If we were going to talk about the sour project,
Yeah.
sour beer stuff. So what are you doing in the sour beer bits?
So we literally started Sloop Jam, kind of a NBA Jam spinoff. It's a fruited lactose sour program. So using the different fruits, bringing out the different flavors have been a huge hit. We're going to try to focus more on that stuff.
Yeah.
The marketing behind it was kind of funny. We love NBA Jam. We have an 94 arcade game tournament edition in the brewery that people can come in and just play. So every beer has a different name. Boom Shakalaka, He's on Fire, Rejected. So we kind of went and did something fun with that. But I think we're going to rev that up. I think if anything we're going to do is focus on the fruited lactose sours that we do. So and I'm pumped. I mean, we do a wide variety of different things, but I think that's the future for our sour program. I think that's where it's going to end.
And out of the fruited sours that you've done so far, which one has been your favorite fruit addition?
I would say Boom Shakalaka with blueberry and raspberry was very good. I think the blueberry, that really, it was potent. I mean, but it wasn't too crazy. But I just love the different flavors that come out of it. It's usually a couple of different fruits we work with in each beer, but he hit a home run the first couple of ones, and we just kind of went from there. I think we did 7 different ones so far. So bring that series back again.
So when you do sour beers, do you kill sour or do you do it in barrels?
Both actually.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's different mix. I touch on Confliction, dry hop kettle sour, and then sour peach is another one that we have here. I don't know what session we're pouring it, but that peach flavor is unbelievable. That's another popular one for us that we did way back, 2011, 2012. So a lot of these beers we've done in the past, and we're kind of bringing them back again. But I think the IPAs are such heavy hitters for us.
Yeah.
But everybody really enjoys the other side of it. So
is it hard to get people into sours in the area, or are people just kind of finally sours?
I think it's great. I think people love it. People gravitate towards it. They want it. For us, we wanted to even get a little bit different. We have 20 tap lines, at the tasting room. So we said, obviously you don't want 20 IPAs on. So it kind of ignited Justin to start doing some different things. And branch out, lager program being one of them. Yeah. So I think it's you're seeing the different things he can do, and the styles that come out of it are a wide range of different things. So
did it feel like a natural progression to get into sours? Because that's a whole different process and program.
Yeah, I think it was. I think at the beginning, trying different things out, when especially when he started out, this is 2011. It was a no-brainer. I think we were one of the first breweries to do a New England style IPA in the state of New York. So that time, obviously, it was IPA focused, but he always had a passion and a knack for doing sours and always wanted to do lager, and we never did it. And then we started that probably January, February this year. So that's been a great, obviously it takes up tank space, but now with the, expansion we went through, we can afford to throw that in a 30 or a 60. We have a 30-barrel brew house. Added 1,220 barrel fermenters to it. Added a Wild Goose 600 canning line. So, cans have been great. Hitting 85 cans per minute on that thing. It's awesome. Yeah.
That's impressive.
So, and again, a lot of juice bomb.
So how do you see the trends in the U.S. right now? 'Cause, I mean, I think a lot of the times in Europe we see trends emerging. Well, sometimes in the U.S. Like for example, the hazy IPAs, for example, was a trend that emerged in the U.S. before it came over here. But are there any new trends that you're seeing in the U.S. right now?
I think you're seeing more of there's people trying to reignite the West Coast style IPA, and I mean obviously 2008, 2009, that's when we were introduced to a lot of these West Coast style IPAs. At the time it was Green Flash, and then Stone came over, and then Lagunitas came over, and Firestone. I think you're starting to see that as much as the haze craze is a thing. That's crushing it. Everybody's doing it. But even us internally, it's like, let's switch up a couple IPAs, Let's not have them all, be haze bombs, no fun. But I think that's something that you're going to start seeing a little more. Especially in New York, we saw a slight craze with the brewed IPAs. Yeah. And then that kind of turned into my McKellar friends. That kind of turned into, a fad for a little bit, and that kind of died out a little quicker.
I feel like we saw like the brewed IPA thing for like a month or 2 months,
right?
And then it kind of like fell off.
Yeah. So I think I like the idea of bringing back a West Coast sort of style, and I mean we're even getting a calling out on the West Coast for our beers, and a lot of the New York breweries as well. It's like people want it out there. So it's interesting to see where this is all going to go, but I think West Coast style IPAs is something that you're kind of seeing people try to gravitate back into doing.
It's kind of nice to have something to like go back to as well, like get back into like West Coast stuff as well.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because like everyone's been so hazy for so long that I think when you start seeing an IPA that's just crystal clear and it's just like a beautiful glass of beer, people are almost excited about that because it feels like a novelty these days.
And honestly, what we were introduced, a lot of us were introduced to our very first IPA was a West Coast style IPA.
Yeah.
So you kind of want to go back and sort of pay homage to the beginning of how everything kind of started. So
I kind of feel that's why the Pilsner and Lager kind of is becoming a reemergent style. I mean, it's
huge, especially New York City. I mean, New York City, every market is so different in the state of New York, and every market's different, every state's different. New York City alone, as far as the lager market goes, crushes it. It's very interesting too. On draft, it crushes it. Cans, but then when you put a Pilsner, put a Helles Lager in a can, as you get north of the city, it kills it. And draft does as well. Yeah. But for some reason, it's such a heavy lager drinking draft market. That's what you kind of look at too. Even from a sales perspective, it's like, all right, they're going to load up on half barrels and, pump this beer into New York City and then kind of trickle it around everywhere else. But I mean, it's, I think people want easy drinking. Yeah. More and more people want easy drinking. People would always gravitate towards ABV for a long time, especially a new craft beer drinker. Oh, it's 11%, I want that. I think now you're getting people saying, especially the people within the industry, all of us, it's like, oh my God, 4.3% Pilsner, I want that. It's like, I don't want anything else, It's like,
I don't want to be hammered in 2 hours. I want to be able to just sit back and relax and enjoy myself.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think that's great. I think you see that more and more. And
I've seen myself gravitate more towards low ABV beers as well.
Sure.
You're not going to get hammered straight away. And the thing is, with the production process nowadays as well, you can get super flavorful low ABV beers anyway. Yep. So I don't see many times for me, it's I'm looking at a beer and I'm saying this is 9%, 10%, 11%. Yep. But it could be maybe 6 or 7 and still retain that same flavor, and I'm not going to get fucked up on 2 beers.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it says a lot, and it says a lot about where the industry is going.
Yeah.
I mean, but you said it perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, there is a maturity of the craft beer world these days.
Yeah.
Where 2 years ago it was all about
pushing the envelope, making the strongest beer there is, the hoppiest beer there is, the sourest one. Yep. Now we're kind of getting back to making more balanced stuff.
That's the thing, and it's a low. You can even have juice. Our juice bomb 6.5%.
Exactly.
But low bitterness and very balanced.
Yeah.
So you don't taste the 6.5%. You have a couple, you're like, oh, here I am.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. But other than that, it's like it's a great, tasting beer. It's not sometimes I think sometimes when you're drinking an IPA specifically, it's like the hops are just, there's so much going on. It's like, I'm drinking something like, whoa, that's a little too intense for me. You want something a little bit more mild and kind of balanced.
I would say even in like the 3 years we've been here, like 3 years ago, you would not see a single Pilsner or a single, but now there's like 3 Pilsner only like people, and even breweries that are known for doing like crazy IPAs and other stuff, they're doing Pilsners as well.
Sure.
And I think people are just as excited about them as they would, not they would have been 2 years ago, but now they're very excited about
Absolutely. it. And it's funny, last night at the Brewers party, it's like Frank the Tank, easy drinking, first can to go. Like everybody was gobbling that up, and it's like these guys do such a good job of putting out those beers that are drinkable. I can sit down, I can have a few of them. Their stuff's awesome. But
it's like 4.6% or something like that. So it's like really hoppy and just very, very easy to drink.
Flavorful and low ABV. That's a home run.
So the low ABV market is really, I think, Europe has really hard drinking and driving laws. So I think that the desire for these like flavorful low ABV or zero ABV beers have become like a almost essential part of the market here. And it seems like the U.S. is just starting to figure out like, hey, we can do a 3% beer and no one's going to like with an eyebrow about it. It's going to be
absolutely. Great. And I think you touched on that. It's so important. You want to have a few. You want to make sure you can also, if you're driving.
So we're basically all catching up to the British cask system, from 100 years ago.
For sure. And what people want is, again, easy drinking, low ABV stuff. Is that's been a huge great. It's a good thing. So
so what can we expect from Sloop in the future?
Well, you can expect, I think, maybe another brewery at some point, but it's getting already. It's getting crowded over there with the nice big new spot. But I don't know. I think you're going to see just you're going to see us kind of head in a direction where, again, not so IPA heavy, a more balanced portfolio. Obviously, the IPAs are the heavy hitters for us, but you're going to see a lot of different things coming out, and that's kind of what we want to be known as. It's like, everybody does. So all the breweries here have that 1 or 2 beers that they knock out of the park all the time, but they also do a lot of different good, a lot of different beers that are great. I think we just want to be known as more of a balanced. You think Sloop, you think IPA. No, that's awesome, but hopefully one day you can say, oh well, they have a kick-ass Hellas Lager. So just change it up.
Anything else?
No, nothing.
All right, Joe, thanks for your time. We really appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Look forward to next year, hopefully a tap takeover and some bottle releases or can releases. And
I would love to do it.
All right, thanks a lot.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you. So, welcome to What's on Top podcast. We're talking with Sean from Cerebral Brewing. Sean, so what do you do at Cerebral?
Owner, head brewer.
Ah, nice. You guys had a barrel age release this week that was pretty exciting. Everyone was kind of clamoring for that.
Nice. Good to hear. We never know how our beer is going to be perceived outside of our home market. We're a pretty small brewery, so it's fun to send some overseas.
How long have you been around?
3.5 years.
3.5 years? That's not long at all.
No.
You're kind of the new kids on the block.
Yeah, we're still figuring out what we're doing, but it's been fun.
How long have you been? How many MBCCs have you been to?
This is our second.
So, what inspires you guys?
I don't know. We're in a really heavy market in Denver. There's a lot of breweries that have been around for a long time. Yeah. I started as a home brewer and really just started creating things that didn't exist in the Denver market yet.
What were those things?
Hazy IPAs were the first one, and then we really got into barrel aging stouts and mixed fermentation saisons was a passion of ours, and now we've been doing a Foeder Lager series we're really excited about.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So how do you what made you want to get into the market? The sours and barrel aging. These are all like the big guys.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. We just wanted to make beer. We just wanted to have fun. It was. I came from physical therapy before, and really didn't like the direction healthcare was headed in the United States. with how profit-driven and less patient-centric. So I started homebrewing on the side, and I saw a lot of friends go professional, and I was like, I think I can do this. So we opened, and it's kind of worked out.
Yes, because I had the Meyer Lemon Sour.
Awesome.
With vanilla. It's really good.
Yeah, 12 months in Chardonnay barrels, and then Meyer Lemon and Madagascar Bourbon Vanilla.
It's so smooth. I was afraid the Meyer Lemon would be a little overpowering, but it's just a nice, subtle edge and really elevates the beer.
Awesome. Thank you.
So,
where does the name Cerebral come from?
I've got a science background, got my doctorate in physical therapy, and then we had another owner when we started that was a molecular biologist, and kind of the goal was really to create like a welcoming classroom. We wanted to educate our customers. It was really just that we're putting a lot of thought into what we're doing, and Cerebral came to mind, and it just stuck.
So how do you work with the education process then?
We just, we do a lot of staff training. We've got some really, really awesome bartenders behind the bar, and it's really just about, say, like the new Foeder Lager series we're doing is not something that people in Denver are used to. So it's just about talking to the consumer and telling them what to expect before they drink the beer.
Do you have a tap room at the brewery?
Yes. Yeah, that's the biggest part of it is dealing direct with consumer and being able to talk about our beer versus just sending it. It's hard here sending it overseas. We don't get to talk about it as much. At the festival is an exception, but
So, how do you compete in a really crowded marketplace? I mean, Denver is known as one of the beer meccas.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's just setting yourself apart. Like we started doing the hazy IPA thing before anybody else locally was doing it. Now everybody does it, so it doesn't really set us apart. We're always just trying to find that edge, like something that we are passionate about that maybe other people aren't doing or looking at. So we started doing sour IPAs in a tiki style, and we've been doing the Foeder Lagers. So I don't know, just innovating, trying to find new things. So.
I mean, I'm sorry, but you look so young.
Yeah.
I'm just like...
No, not really. No. 34.
34.
So.
I mean, but still, that's quite amazing to have established yourself as like this world-class brewer at such a young age. I mean, how does that feel when you come to some of these beer festivals and you're kind of like, oh my God.
It's really humbling to even be here. So, I don't know, we just kind of think of ourselves as like a small neighborhood brewery in Denver. So it's really exciting that anybody knows who we are outside of the country. I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
People are really excited about your releases here. So,
awesome.
Can we hopefully see more things in the Scandinavian market?
That would be the hope. We were gonna go actually brew with Brewski on Monday.
Yeah, Brewski guys are great. Marcus is amazing.
Yep. Frederick came out and made a beer with us in the States in October. So we're gonna come out on Monday and hang and brew with them. The hope is to send a little bit more this way. Nothing regular. We're really small, but
So you think you're really small? Like, what is your production scale?
We're a 10-barrel brewery. Last year we produced 1,800 barrels, and this year we're on pace to do about 22 to 2,500. So a little bit of growth, but it's slow and sustained. We've pretty much maxed out our original space. We can maybe fit a few more tanks and a little bit more capacity, but overall we can't. And in the Denver market, we can't just double, triple, quadruple our production on an annual basis, like some breweries, like our friends here from around the States, are able to do because they're in less saturated markets. So just focusing on quality and not growing very fast.
So how do you see that as a challenge? Because you see so many breweries just kind of expand, and so is your business model more keep it small and local and focused, or do you see greater expansion and aspirations on that one?
We want to stay direct to consumer as much as we can. We're usually around 70% of our beer goes through our own tap room. The rest of it is self-distroed through like the Denver metro area, and then occasional drops when we do festivals. So we want to do that. That's where the margins support it. That's how we can add, employee benefits and reinvest in the company. Doing mass distro doesn't really get you much money, and it's a lot of work and it's a lot of headache and logistics. So, eventual scale for us, maybe another tap room, maybe a little bit more production to support that tap room, but we don't see a lot of use in really sending beer that far on a regular basis because you make so little on it. And we can't compete with some of the guys like Great Divide and Left Hand and New Belgium that can do that and cut costs on it. If we cut costs, then we're not making anything. So, yeah.
But it's really interesting to hear you say that, because I really like kind of this new trend of breweries realizing, like, you know what, we don't need to serve everyone all the time. Let's just focus in on this market and really master this area and own this space.
Yeah.
And
you get to tell the story behind your brand doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And I just feel like it's such a much more powerful and interesting way to go, because you don't need to hit.
You don't need to distribute to everyone. You need to distribute to the people that actually care about your product.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're seeing so many breweries kind of expand, and then just kind of fold in on themselves. They sell off to someone, and then they.
Well, it takes a lot of money to expand, and then if you don't, you're not making the profit margin you'd hope for because it's competition. Then then the bills come due and you can't pay them. So
you're hitting that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're really looking at not taking on any more debt than we have to. And just keeping it like organic growth.
Yeah, it makes total sense, and that's really exciting to hear, because, I mean, like when you hear about like Beavertown or what was it? I just saw an announcement that Dogfish and
Sam
Adams just merged basically, and so you realize, like, yeah, they're hitting their upper limits. They've gone as big as they can, and then they can't get any bigger.
Yeah. Or it just takes too much capital investment to get bigger from that scale.
Exactly. Yeah. The distribution cycle is ludicrous and so crazy expensive. So when you look at like Cerebral 10 years in the future, where do you see yourself?
I don't know. I mean, it's tough because we're looking at really focus on the Denver market primarily, and that market is changing so rapidly. We're starting to see breweries close for the first time in a while, and it's really hard because it's some of our friends sometimes.
No.
And we don't really know where the market's headed locally, so I can't project that far. I know long term we'd like to have another tap room. We're looking at hopefully having another space to focus more on the barrel aging side of things. We're up to about like 180 oak barrels now, and we'd like to grow that some more. So that's the goal for maybe the next 5. But beyond that, the market could change on us, and then we have to adapt. So
how did you get into the barrel aging series?
I love the style. I love brewing stout. We had beer that I'd been brewing as a home brewer and always fucked it up. Never got it to work out right, and then we brewed. Here Be Monsters was the first one we did at the brewery. We bought 10 bourbon barrels, and we're like, this will be a fun experiment. And then it just kind of became a thing we did.
That's great.
It was. Yeah. We have friends that have helped us a lot. Answered a lot of questions and helped us refine our technique. But yeah, it's always been a passion, and then it just kind of turned into something that we really love doing, especially on the mix firm.
What's your favorite barrel style?
If we're talking like clean beer, we've been working with a ton of different bourbon barrels. So Willet rye barrels being really nice, and Weller are some of our other favorites. But we also work with a local distillery in Denver called Laws. So Laws Sakale Rye and Laws 4-grain bourbon are the working vacation that we have on today was in Laws 4-grain bourbon for 10 months.
Are there types of barrels you want to like branch into you haven't tried yet?
Yeah, we're always open to new things. So we've basically grown a list of barrel suppliers, and we're on all their email lists. So anytime they get something fun, I don't know. We're always just looking for something different.
So what's your ultimate beer to try, like style that you want to do?
I don't really have one anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's more just like refining of technique. So working on making the best Pilsner that we can.
It's so funny. I've heard so many brewers talk about making the best Pilsner they can.
Yeah. I think that's where it really shows how good of a brewer you are.
Yeah.
You can do. It's not easy to do a barrel aged adjunct stout, but it's a little bit easier to mask some flaws.
Yeah.
So we're really committed to that right now and kind of seeing where it takes us.
So when you get into the Pilsner area, what is it that separates Cerebral from other Pilsner brewers?
So we're lucky to have Bierstadt in Denver, who is world-class German-style lagers. So we didn't brew lagers for a long time because we knew we could not do them as traditionally as they did.
Yeah.
So actually this festival last year, I had one from Threes and one from Tired Hands that were foeder fermented Pilsners, and I went home and I bought a foeder.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, based on this festival. So it was just the roundness of flavor that we're able to see by fermenting an oak.
So what does that give to the beer itself? I've never had a Foder fermented Pilsner before.
Yeah, so we'll have one, I can't remember which sessions, we have 2 of them we're going to be pouring over the next 3 sessions. So the best way I can describe it, you don't taste the oak. You don't taste, a lot of people think it's going to be funky because Foders are typically, wild fermented beers. We typically just see that it rounds the flavor profile off in a way that we wouldn't get with stainless. Whether that's the micro-oxygenation or just the little bit of lignans from the oak coming into the beer, but it's a really, really fun flavor profile.
So do you find between your doctorate and the other guy you mentioned that has his degree in microbiology, do you find that really enables you to try a lot of different things in ways other people might not?
Yeah, so we've got a guy on staff now that, Patrick, our production manager, that handles our lab too. We probably have the most advanced lab in all of Colorado for a brewery our size. So we do all yeast propagation in-house. We haven't bought a commercial pitch of yeast this year. Everything's been grown on site. We do all of our own clean plating on every barrel-aged beer that comes through. And that lab allows us to do a little bit of experimentation too that goes with that. So yeah, that's definitely a part of it.
Crazy exciting. I mean,
It's been a really fun year for us for that. We built the lab out when we opened, and things didn't work out to get it off the ground. We've always had the microscope. We've always done cell counts, but really it wasn't the most useful room. And now the past year, it's been a lot of exciting stuff for us. Customers don't really care that we grow our own yeast, but we're really excited about it. So yeah,
they don't know the difference, but for real beer nerds, that's a real hell of the incredible thing. I mean, nobody else is really doing that.
Yeah, not many people our size for sure. Some of the bigger breweries know the cost savings that come with it, so they take it on, but most 10-barrel breweries don't touch that.
Any questions?
Well, I would want to ask about what the trending market in Denver right now.
Yeah.
Where do you see the trends in Denver heading off now?
I don't know.
I mean, the hazy beer market has been huge everywhere for a long time.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not for a long time, but for the past 1-2 years.
Yeah.
But do you see any trends in Denver right now where you see the market is heading?
Yeah, the things that we've seen, like fruited kettle sours, are still big, but it's the dynamic is changing. The Hudson Valley sour IPA thing is kind of starting to make its way out west. So we're seeing a lot of that. The rebirth of craft lager, and I guess not rebirth, the appreciation of craft lager is finally growing. Yeah. I don't think that's going to ever be the next big thing, but I think it is going to be a larger percentage of what people drink. And Colorado is kind of going through a weird time where we just allowed a grocery store bill to pass, so a lot of the mom and pop liquor stores that were our go-to stores are having a rough time because grocery stores can carry everything now. So a lot of the bigger breweries now have their beer everywhere, but at a slimmer margin. So we're kind of seeing how that's going to play out. But yeah, I think Colorado is typically a few years behind the rest of the country. The East Coast.
That's actually really cute because I grew up in the Deep South, and Deep South, if Colorado, the Deep South is a few decades behind.
Yeah, and I don't mean that in a bad way for Colorado. We are kind of on an island. There's no major beer destinations in any of the states around us, but a lot of them are growing. So it's fun to see that and support it. But we see a trend pop up on the East Coast, and then it kind of trickles over. But it takes a lot longer. But now there's a ton of youth in brewing in Colorado, so it's really exciting to see what other brewers locally are bringing to the table, and challenging us and inspiring us, and it's fun to work with those guys. So,
well, thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks
and
for chatting.
I think you guys are doing great stuff, and really excited about what you guys are going to have in the future because now I'm going to have even more reasons to go to Colorado.
Let me know.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
All right, so today we are joined by Moksa, and
Derek Gallanosa.
Derek, welcome.
Thank you.
Back
Yes,
to
yeah.
What's on Tap podcast. We interviewed you last year or 2 years ago?
It was 2 years ago
2 years
under
ago,
Abnormal Beer Company, yeah.
Yeah, with Abnormal. So now you've left Abnormal
Yes.
and you started Moksa.
Correct.
So what's going on with Moksa?
So we're different city. We're up
Yeah.
in the Sacramento area, Northern California. Big focus on hazy IPAs, Imperial Stouts. We're just starting to release our barrel program of Imperial Stouts that we started, which were only 15 months old. So they're finally starting to come and become ready. And then if we satisfy both of those categories, we try to do some sours, some kettle sours, and West Coast IPAs, and hopefully get to that 5th level of brewing lagers and kolsches and things
And
like
how
that.
are you feeling about like the emotions of the people that you're trying to cater to?
We have a really passionate following, and we try to keep everything as local as possible while doing events like this to promote not only our brewery but our area and our region and the brewers around it. Because Sacramento is a very, it's a beer town. It's growing, but it's very young, so not a lot of people know about it. So I think using my experience and connections and ability to be at these type of festivals to promote not only Moksa but also Sacramento.
And if you could say from the beginning what made you want to do beer? I mean, when I see you, you're a handsome guy.
Thank you.
Sorry. And I'm half Asian, so I'm kind of like attracted to you. But if you would say what made you think about brewing, I mean, what was that thing?
So it was about 11 years ago. I saw a friend's dad homebrew, and it blew my mind. So I bought a book, bought some equipment, and just started experimenting and just fell in love with it. So after that, I put aside my marketing degree that I got just after graduating college, and just apply full time to learning as much as possible every day and try to get into this industry that seems so fun. And I haven't looked back.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So how does Moksa different from Abnormal?
I think we're putting out a lot more releases. We try to do at least 1 or 2 can releases a month and the same amount for bottles. So it's a lot more faster pace. And I think with us, we're catering more to the local crowd. We sell our, we have a membership, but you don't have proxies. We sell everything in-house. We don't do a lot of outside sales. We really want to bring people to our tap room and experience our beer at the source. So we want to have more of like a local feel. Of course, it's different markets to where San Diego is a lot more saturated, but we want to have that local feel, have that community in our tap room.
Yeah, I would say that the Moksa Tap Takeover at
McKellar and Friends, yeah.
Highlight of the week, honestly.
Yeah.
I tried the Sunset on Sunset.
Oh yeah, like
Oh my God.
tangerine juice. I wish I would have brought some of the sours here because I think they compete with some of the sours
Honestly,
here.
it is one of the best beers I had all week.
Oh great! Thank
Actually,
you.
you had the 2 best beers I've had all week.
Which one was the other one?
The 17%.
Oh, the moderation. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Oh my
but it's
God.
not.
It was
doesn't
so.
taste like
It
that,
was
yeah.
so dangerous.
Yeah, we're pouring that one of the sessions.
Oh, it was exquisite. It was honestly one of the best beers I've had in a long time.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like harkens back to like when we tried you guys a couple of years ago for them normal. I'm like, oh yeah, these guys are just world class, amazing. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, how do you make a 17% beer that drinks like nothing? I mean, it was so smooth and flavorful and.
So it's all about balancing it out. So we wanted to use the alcohol as a cutting element for using the maple syrup that we did. If we didn't have that high of an ABV, it would seem a little bit too sweet. So we used, knowing that we really wanted to use maple syrup, we wanted a stronger beer, and also some other coloring elements. I believe there's coffee in there. And we added coconut, which has kind of a sweet element. So using cutting and perceived like bitterness and...
Is it hard to separate?
Hard to separate. It's really just trying to have those different elements of sweet and alcohol and bitterness and having them all come together to where they're nice and balanced out and easy drinking. You don't want it to be too alcoholic or too boozy. You don't want it to be too sweet. So finding that balance was the challenge.
I will say you failed on the alcohol level because I did not know that. Like, if somebody had told me 17%, I'd be like, oh, this is like, 10 or 12.
It's very well hidden.
It just drinks. And as it got warmer, it just developed and expanded and just became an amazing, amazing beer.
Yeah, we agree. It's one of our best beers that we ever.
Anyway, you're not only handsome, but you're also very knowledgeable.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're not done yet.
You're not done?
No, I'm going to talk about Sunset on Sunset a little bit.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Because there's
Another
so
question?
much tangerine in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was literally like a tangerine soda.
It is. We use a tangerine puree
Yeah.
towards the end of fermentation. Make sure it's nice and stable. Let it ferment out, and then we proceed with the process of cold crashing in and all that. But it's just we use the Oregon fruit puree, a lot of it, and I think with the acidity and the sweetness and of the fruit and the beer, I think it really became a nice, easy drinking beer. And also, it's not as dry as most people
It was really
think.
good. It was amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So how long has Moksa been around?
15 months.
15 months, so a little over a year.
Correct.
So where do you go from here? Like, what's the next 5 years for Moksa?
We gotta reduce the discrepancy between our supply and demand by a little bit, or we try to work towards meeting our demand, and that means finding another location to house our barrel program so we can get more tanks in there, create more products, and get the beer out there to more people.
It's all about scalability. Right?
Exactly, and right now it's just finding the room to do that.
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Because right now we have a lot of people asking, a lot of accounts, but we don't have the beer. So placement right now is also key. Making sure that your brand stays relevant and placed within places and events like what we're at right now for the limited supply that we have. And then when we have more, going to those other accounts that we find valuable placements.
Yeah. So as you see the Sacramento beer scene expanding, I mean, you guys are so cute. How do you fill your places in that? I mean, Sacramento, when you think of like great California beer cities, it's LA and San Diego.
Yeah.
So San Diego's kind of still on the cusp of development.
Yeah, I think San Diego's, they're reaching their saturation point where the same amount of openings is starting to equal the same amount of closures. With Sacramento, most of the breweries, a vast majority of the breweries have opened within the last 5 years. It's a very passionate, very skilled brewer community, but it's very young. So we have a lot to learn. We have a lot of promotion that we need to do to bring people in the area. And I think using our position here with this invitation to MBCC, we can promote our area and showcase what we have to offer. So we're just a little piece of what Sacramento has to offer, and we feel like we need to represent it well here.
I swear to God, we've got to get bottles and cans over here because I mean, Moksa is
It's awesome. Your beers are
incredible.
awesome.
Thank you.
On so many levels. We really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
We'll wrap it up here.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.